No. Wait! You. Who are you?
Jack, you're going to have a stiff neck there.
No!
Oh, Jack, I'm sorry. I startled you. Oh, it's Maeve, darling. I'm afraid you must have been in a sound sleep.
I was dreaming.
Well, are you all right?
No. Something's wrong.
What's
wrong? I can't remember. Oh. I don't know.
What?
No, I'm all right. It was a dream. I have to remember. I can't. I was scared.
I'm so cold.
Oh, all right. Well, there's a fire laid in the fireplace. I think my sweater's on the couch in there, and I'll pour us a couple of brandies. You'll be warm soon, I promise. Go on in, make yourself comfortable.
I'd like to see that paper again, please.
Really? I thought I'd use it to light the fire.
I want to read it again. Tonight, this reviewer saw his first full-scale production of the ancient Greek comedy Lysistrata. Some ancient ruins do not deserve resurrection. The play itself is full of jokes and truisms so lame it's hard to believe they're from the pen of Aristophanes. But one knows his other brilliant works and forgives him. Not so the youngsters who had the temerity to launch this wretched showcase. I will grant the producer, director, and scantily clad cast the favor of anonymity herein.
Look, just know this. He couldn't produce a play, direct one, write one, let alone act in one. You know, he's always had what I've considered to be the easiest, safest job in the world.
Well, Chester may have been wrong about what he wanted the production to be. And maybe our cast wasn't up to Greek comedy. But the point is we tried. We cared. We saw something important in the play and we wanted to pass it on to somebody else. Everybody wanted that play to be so good. And for them to just toss it aside like that.
It's unfair, to say the least, for sure. But look, now, he's one of what? 1 out of 20 critics?
You know what this is about? You know what's really wrong here? I'm looking for reviews for my mother. It's crazy, but I just thought of her sitting on the couch reading this thing, and I got furious all over again. I want my mother to approve of my work.
Well, that's not so surprising, is it?
It makes me mad that I want it, or need it. You know, she's gonna say, I told you so, 1,000 times. And I really appreciate something to hold on to. And I won't have it. Except your hand, that is. Aren't you getting sick and tired of all this?
Oh, no. You know what the real issue is here? It's not your mother's reaction, it's not the reviews, and it's not even what's fair.
What is it, then?
It's how you feel about what you've done. Now, if you know that the work you did was good and honest as you could make it, then basically, you're okay. I mean, you can't get hurt. They can't touch you.
I like what I did.
Me too.
Would you mind telling me? Just a little.
Oh, you were lovely. You were honest and simple and clear as a bell. I understood Marina perfectly. I felt as if she were right there. I mean, I know about her life with Synesius before the war, before she met Lysistrata. She and Synesius used to meet secretly in the garden, in the dark. First time they made love was in the grass, in the shadow of the orchard trees. She wanted him so much. She was really a very simple, physical person. She wanted to be with him all the time, and after they were married, she thought she'd be perfectly happy for the rest of her life. But then the war intervened. And she knew Synesius wanted her as much as she wanted him, so she used that to protect them both. That was all there, Kim.
Chester said if I could get past the ideology and try to understand the person, the play'd have a center. I don't know if I did that or not, but I do understand what it is to want somebody.
Yes, I think you do.
I don't mean as a child.
Oh. I know what you mean. Finished with that yet?
Yeah. It's not that I don't want real criticism or can't take it. It's just the opposite, really. I'd love to have somebody sit and analyze that production, moment to moment. I know what worked for me, but I don't always know what's going on outside of my own head.
Well, what did Chester say?
Chester seemed satisfied, but then Chester was satisfied with the whole production, and if it was bad enough to make you evasive and Mother walk out, what does that say about Chester?
Are you sure he was satisfied with the entire production?
No, I guess not. Must be kind of hard to be the director of a disaster.
Oh, Kim, come on. The production hardly qualifies as a disaster.
What would you call it?
The New York debut of a gifted, lovely young actress.
You are so relentlessly positive. Aren't you ever vicious or mean-spirited or negative?
Occasionally, but you don't give me much opportunity to be any of those things. Well, Mr. Jones's review started a very good fire.
There you go again. It was a ghastly review, but it started a lovely fire. You're so good to me. So good for me. Thank you.
No. Thank you.
For what? What?
Lots of things.
I'm so happy.
Good. You should be.
Not about my birthday, and not about the play, or not about the work itself. But because I'm here with you now. And I love you. And I know you love me. That's true, isn't it?
Yes.
If I ask you a question, would you try to answer it honestly?
If I can.
Do you want me as much as I want you?
Excuse me, Mr. Novotny, but I don't know what you mean.
I'm asking you why Mrs. Finelli was left in a condition where she could regain consciousness and speak to her husband before she died.
She couldn't have.
She did.
Mr. Novotny, I swear, we put her in that car. Her neck was broken. I mean, her skull was fractured. There was no pulse. I drove with her in that car out the Belt Parkway. There was no sign. Oh, she couldn't have.
Sit down, Larry. I think I better hear the whole story.
Okay, about noon that day, I go from the warehouse with some stuff for Duke, one of our regulars. I meet him in this coffee house as usual. Well, he gives me the money. I pass him a half kilo of Coke. Then I drive from the coffee house back to the warehouse. About 5 minutes after I get there, I come out from the side office. Well, there's this woman standing in the doorway to the warehouse. Hey, you're back there. And I know Dave is with you, and also I know the stuff is being cut. Well, she has to see it from where she's standing. She leaves in a real hurry. I wait about a minute and I follow her. She's already making a call from the phone booth.
That was to her father. Fortunately, she didn't tell him anything of importance.
Oh, she was moving real fast, Mr. Novotny. I was trying to be careful. I didn't know who was with her, who might be outside.
All right. Go on.
Well, I'm by the booth, and then I hear a call in the Narcotics Bureau. Now, that's the call I stopped.
Yes?
I get her inside. That's when I recognize her from another time at the coffee house. She was there with a guy and this kid that Duke had some trouble with. I still don't know who she is, you understand? I don't watch Channel 1 News. I have no idea of the connection with Joe.
Larry, I told you you'd done what you're supposed to do.
All right. She hides in the warehouse, and it took us some time to find her. I hit her once in the back of the head. Her neck was broken. It was Dave who recognized. He says, "Hey, that's that Mary Finelli from the television news." That's when I put it together with Joe. Knew we had to make it look like an accident. We laid out the plan, and I sent Dave to check it out with you.
And I was told that you would put her in the car and make an accident, and after dark.
Well, about 5 that day, we drove out the belt. Dave followed in his car. We found the spot. I put her in the driver's seat, put the safety belt around her, put her in gear, dropped her down the hill and over the embankment. That car fell 15, 20 feet. Well, I thought she was dead before we left the warehouse.
She wasn't. The police called her husband, and he and Mr. and Mrs. Ryan were with her when she died. She awoke just long enough to talk to them.
What did she say?
For your sake, Larry, I'm glad to say that there was nothing definitive. However, Mr. Finelli has had time to think it over, and he's formulating some questions about the whole business, and that may mean serious trouble. So, what are we going to do about it?
I was lying there, thinking about Mary, the accident, and what she said.
Yes?
I fell asleep. It had something to do with the man in the green hat. And trying to find... What?
I don't know, darling.
Who has a green hat?
Oh, Jack, I have thought about that so many times. Do you think there could have been someone in the car?
Maybe.
The man in the green hat. Ugh, what a strange thing for her to have said.
Yes, I love you. Yes, I want you.
And don't say the rest of it. I don't want to hear it. Not anything about age or responsibility or what's good for me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. And the most awful thing you can do is try to pretend like you don't love me.
I tried that once. Didn't work.
No.
You really don't understand, do you?
I understand perfectly what you think the problems are. I also understand better than you do that they're not real.
Kimberly.
They're not. They're all in your head. And if I figured that out, it won't be long before you have too, because you're smarter than I am.
Okay, suppose you tell me what you think these unreal problems are.
Okay. To begin with, you think you're taking advantage of me.
Yes.
Because I've never had a father, and I've always wanted one, and I've mixed that up with loving you.
Very good. That's dead right.
Okay, only it's wrong. I don't relate this way to fathers.
Okay. You made your point. What else?
If we became lovers, you think it wouldn't last, and when it came time for you to leave me, I'd be hurt.
Yes.
I promise I won't let you leave me. If I have to, I'll leave you first.
Be serious.
I am. It's very egotistical of you, Seneca. You can't imagine me leaving you.
Only with the greatest of difficulty.
Okay, you're outraged.
Yeah, of course I am. Who did you go off with?
Why do you want to know?
I can wait for him in some dark alley.
You wouldn't do that.
Probably. In my inhibited, stuffy way, of course.
Oh, I don't think you're inhibited.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, tell me some more of my problems.
Okay. I think maybe you're worried about what other people are going to say.
No.
The imminent Dr. Bolak with an 18-year-old actress?
No.
No. Actually, I think you'd probably tell them if they didn't like it, they could just...
Yes.
I don't want anybody to know. I want to love you, and I want to be lovers, and I want to pretend to run into you at the hospital and say, Seneca, how marvelous to see you, darling. Can't we have dinner sometime together soon? And the whole time I'd know that I was going to be with you that night, and every night.
Kim, stop.
What's the matter?
It's not a game.
You're so serious. You're so terribly, awfully, desperately serious. I love you, and you love me. That's fun. It isn't a game, but it is fun, and it's wonderful. And I love you so much I can't even believe it. Please love me back.
A dream. I can't remember it. I can't get away from it. It was about Mary. It wasn't about Mary. It had something to do with the accident, but it didn't have anything to do with the accident. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do, dear. The whole thing is maddening. But you know, I think that accident is going to bother all of us for a long, long time. I mean, there was something about it that was so unexpected, so unexplainable. I mean, the whole business has an unfinished feeling to it.
Yeah, well, that's what's getting me. She made it to the wedding, and we had a chance to really talk to one another and resolve a couple of things.
And I'll be grateful for the rest of my life for the fact that she woke up enough to know that we were there with her.
You ought to know this if you don't already. We had a misunderstanding the night before. Yeah. But it wasn't serious in the sense that Mare knew I loved her, and I know she loved me. I'll always know it. Okay?
Yes, darling. Thank you.
I don't think that's what's bothering me. It's the questions, and I want some answers. Where was she from the time she called Johnny until we got to her at the accident? Nobody saw it happen. Nobody knows when it happened. Was she stuck in the car all that time? Well, the access road isn't very busy, but a couple of 100 cars have to go by there in the course of the afternoon. She couldn't have been there all that time. One of these days, I'll just have to go there soon and see for myself.
Oh, Jack, don't do that. That would only be tormenting yourself. No matter when or how, it won't change things.
No, of course it won't. I just need to know, that's all.
Let me define things for you, Larry. I was very distressed about what happened to Mrs. Finelli. I liked her, very fond of her family. You did the right thing. But I don't mind saying that I was pleased not to have to give the direct order, even though under the circumstances there had been no alternative, and I would have given it. But I am not pleased about the fact that you weren't more careful. But I depend on you. You've never disappointed me before, so I'm going to overlook it this time.
Thank you, Mr. Novotny.
No real harm will be done if we can come up with something that will answer Mr. Finelli's questions now, before he has a chance to answer them himself.
How do we find out what his questions are?
I think I know what some of the questions are. Why didn't his wife turn up at the wedding? He had a quarrel with her the night before, something to do with Siobhan. Was that the reason? Where was she all that afternoon? And why was she on the Belt Parkway at the time of the accident?
I got an idea.
Yes, George?
What if Mrs. Finelli talked to somebody just before the accident? And what if this person keeps thinking about the conversation and feels bad about what happened? And then this person gets in touch with Mr. Finelli and tells him what she said.
If that were the case, George, I think our problem would be solved. You understand, Larry?
I sure do.
Get on it right away.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. I haven't lied to Joey, but I haven't volunteered any information either. He doesn't know that Mrs. Finelli's death had anything to do with us. He believes, what the family believes, that she died in a motor accident. And I want him to continue believing that as long as we can manage it.
Yes, sir.
A new original reality series on SoapNet. Mom and Dad are moving in for a financial intervention. It's a matter of life or debt. Bank of Mom and Dad. All new Wednesday at 10, only on SoapNet.